Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. This is the 8-hour chart of silver provided by netdania.com. You can click on the link below. Got a couple of trend lines drawn here. One is the primary downtrend line. You can see we're quite a ways away from that. We could possibly draw in some kind of trend channel here as well, maybe something like this. But you can see we're near the bottom of whatever trend channel we're on. Of course, we have this ridiculous volume. What does that volume represent? I can't tell you. So much of this is opaque. There's no real way to know. We just know that there is a tremendous paper battle going on here. And they're trading billions and billions and billions of ounces of paper silver back and forth. 99 point something percent of the silver that's traded doesn't exist. We know this. I can't convince you of that if you don't believe it. We'll just have to wait until the music stops. But even if that's not the case, even if we're wrong that there isn't a big conspiracy against silver and the price isn't being suppressed and all of those things, I offer you the proposition that with the events that we've seen in Cyprus, and now we're seeing hints from other governments around the world, that they may not take the hyperinflationary path. They may actually take the confiscation of wealth path, which means that your dollars in banks and stock accounts and commodity accounts, bond accounts, all of your paper wealth, they may just decide to take it. So your only protection against that is going to be buying something real and putting your wealth in a real asset. And I would venture to say that at the current price that we're at $27 for an ounce of silver, now you're probably not going to be able to get it for that, but if you look around you might be able to get it for close to that, that this is going to be the best asset that is out there that you can buy right now to protect yourself from the potential confiscation of wealth that's coming. Not even addressing the issue of inflation, deflation, hyperinflation, collapse, it doesn't matter. This is the best asset that's out there right now. So now let's look at the technicals a little bit. You see that we do have this crossover in the MACD. We have this huge churning of volume. We have this slight uptick. And we have this story here on Zero Hedge about the commitment of traders that came out today. 80% chance of 40% silver short squeeze. In the last 20 years, silver shorts in silver futures based on the commitment of traders data has only been as high as it is currently for 5 periods. 4 of those 5 periods were followed by considerable rallies in silver prices. The one period where prices flatlined, fell modestly, was a slow and steady rise in shorts as opposed to the spike-like move currently. Of course, with near record amounts on the short side of the boat, it would seem clear where silver should go next, but this time is different, we will be told. So you can see those spikes that we had there. The arrows indicate those. Those seem to mark bottoms, and we do definitely have that. I don't attach a lot of importance to the commitment of traders, but again, there appears to be an enormous battle going on in the paper silver market. Again, that's irrelevant to what I was just saying about silver being the best fundamental investment to protect your wealth from being confiscated. So let's go over to the questions. I haven't done a silver video in a while, so the questions have piled up. Now, before we do that, you'll note there's a lot of Bitcoin questions. I'm not going to address those Bitcoin questions. I broke off my channel a couple of years ago and created a Bitcoin channel, a Bitcoin blog, and a Bitcoin forum. If you want to ask Bitcoin questions and have me answer those, I'll go ahead and answer those over on that channel. There's a lot of silver bugs who are not at all interested in Bitcoin, including Chris Dwayne. But with that being said, I am going to use as an analogy, real quick, the Bitcoin chart. Now, you can see here that the Bitcoin is clearly in a parabolic rise. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is a parabolic chart. We hit 195 today in the Bitcoin. The reason why I'm showing this to you is to point out that I believe that the Bitcoin is an example of what silver would actually do if it weren't a manipulated market. Now, you could make an analogy here. We know that there's 21 million Bitcoins out there that can ever be created right now. Currently, there's 10 to 11 million. Now, you can imagine a scenario of having something like the COMEX for Bitcoin. There's no reason why something like that couldn't exist. You could have a secondary market. If that were the case, you would see hundreds of millions of Bitcoins trade every day on that market. They could use that market to suppress the price of Bitcoin down, and they would do very, very few deliveries. It would just be a fake market trading against itself. Of course, the reason why that isn't going to happen and couldn't happen is because the people who invest in the Bitcoin know that those people wouldn't have anything and they would be trading a fake market. So that's why it's not going to happen in the Bitcoin. As to why it has happened in silver, well, that's a matter of historical reasons, and silver's been money for thousands of years, and they managed to demonetize it, and it's a long, drawn-out story. But I sincerely believe that at one point in time, you will actually see the paper price of silver behave in this manner. So let's get back to the questions. There's a lot to cover. We'll just go through them one by one. But again, I'm not going to address the Bitcoin questions. Short selling, this is from Noogie2. Brother John, an article by Antal Fiketty is posted on 24-Hour Gold. In it, he claims that the major naked short sellers in silver are not naked at all, and that the silver has not been consumed, as many claim, but actually still exists, either in their vaults or in unspecified hoards, and will reappear when the price goes up. So in his opinion, they are not selling naked shorts at all. What do you make of his assertion? Would that mean the government actually did not sell the strategic reserve into the market, or what? No, I don't agree with that at all. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I haven't read the article, but he's not alone. There are a lot of people who say things like that. There's FOFOA. There's others. You have to remember that gold has been stockpiled for thousands and thousands of years, whereas silver was as well up until the 1900s. And in 1948 and 50, etc., it began to be used up as a industrial commodity. They had to demonetize it because it just couldn't be shared between both investors and industrial users. That is what's causing the price pressure that we've seen recently. The reason why the hunts failed, of course, a couple of reasons. They didn't continue to accumulate physical silver, and they went into paper contracts, and that's how they were busted. But also, they used borrowed money, and there was just too much physical silver at that time anyway. My belief is there was roughly about 10 billion ounces of silver. So Piketty and FOFOA and others, there are many, many others who are in the gold camp. I can't give you the reason why they are. It doesn't really matter. Even if silver doesn't become money ever again, its price as an industrial commodity should at this point in time already be on par with platinum and palladium due to the rarity of it. Next question, Eric Sprott dumping. This is from Wild Cactus. Hi, Brother John. Is it true that Eric Sprott is dumping his PSLV shares? Thanks, Paul from Australia. Now, a lot of people mentioned that in the Zero Hedge article. A lot of people answered that by saying that Eric Sprott is getting ready to do a new issue. That's one of the reasons he does that, and also the fact that there's a large premium, and he's taking advantage of that, and he's going back in and buying physical silver. I have no reason to doubt Eric Sprott. Then again, I don't own any PSLV. I probably never will own any PSLV. I think that that's great for wealthy people and people who have a lot of baskets to put their eggs in. Let's say that you have more physical silver than you can carry, and you want to take that risk that Eric Sprott is going to be able to deliver that. I don't have any doubt of his integrity, but then again, there's a lot of things out of his control. His depositories, or whatever they are going to be regulated by the laws of the country they're in, so they could seize that silver even against his will. So I'm all for Eric Sprott. I think he has good reasons for what he's doing, but I'm not an investor in the PSLV. We're going to skip the Bitcoins, and I think this Please Brother John F. May be one as well. Bitcoin is a fad, so we're not going to do that. A gold backed by Bitcoin. We can do both silver. You can see all the Bitcoin questions. Would self-directed IRAs also be forced into government securities? Hi, Brother John F. According to Egon von Greyer's, governments will force investors to put all of their retirement funds into government securities. This will especially happen in the U.S. I know we've had discussions on self-directed IRAs before, but I find I still need some answers to questions regarding this. Here are my questions. Besides having the middleman cut out by having a self-directed IRA, how does one benefit by having a self-directed IRA? Because the government will still know you have an IRA even if it's self-directed. And therefore, if they force everyone that has an IRA to invest those funds into government securities, won't they also force those of us that took our money out of the stock market, casino, IRA, and went into self-directed IRAs to also invest in those government securities? So we end up being screwed either way, once again, by the government, right or wrong. I'm just trying to get more information or insights because I'm seriously thinking about getting into self-directed IRA this year. I realize a clear-cut answer may not exist, but I would appreciate any insights or thoughts you have. Thanks. Well, I don't have a self-directed IRA. I know there are some. I believe Silver Doctors and I think Jeff Berwick as well have some ideas for foreign investment for self-directed IRAs. It's just, for me personally, not something that I want to play with. I look at the IRA and the 401k in the same light. For me, these are just vehicles to funnel monies to Wall Street. I believe they were created by Wall Street, and their purpose is to prop up the fake paper that's traded in New York, whether it be stocks or bonds. And if you go to, I believe Jim Sinclair recently as today, has said he's advising that you sell everything that's in these retirement accounts, take the hit, and go into physical. I've done that a long time ago, so I don't give investment advice, but I have very strong doubts as to whether any of these IRAs or 401ks will exist in the future, except for having government bonds. Next question, bubble economy. And that's a Bitcoin question. Demonizing hidden wealth. This is from Miojo. It has occurred to me that all these political leaders around the world, along with these leaks of the wealthy having offshore accounts, is intended to demonizing the idea of having wealth separated from the coming one world monetary system. Anger of the masses towards the wealthy will be translated into the explanation of why they can't have wealth outside of the record keeping of the new system. What do you think, Brother John? Shouldn't a person have the right for privacy of their possessions? Well, of course. Of course a person should have a right of privacy for their possessions, but We know that's not the case. We have the government's prying eyes. They want to know every penny that everyone has, and they want to be able to track it. And of course, they want a big world government and world monetary system that they completely control, and they want to just control everything. I don't think they're going to get that for a lot of reasons, including religious reasons. I do not think that it is the time for this world monetary system. I think actually we're going to see a fracture. And with the decline of the Anglo-American Empire, we're going to see a rise in the East. And as they take the reins, I believe they're going to cause the gold silver backing to reemerge for the monetary system. But definitely, this hints at something that's very important. They have a very important card that they can play, and that is that many of the politicians and the corporate leaders and all of the wealthy have used these vehicles, offshore vehicles and other things, to hide assets. If you look at the African dictators, you have your Mugabes and the guy from Zaire, and you have a lot of those dictators who have countries where the people are literally starving, and they have billions and billions of dollars in foreign accounts where they've stolen all the wealth of the country. So I don't think there's any doubt about the fact that when the powers that be decide to go after, and I will term them the multi-millionaires and the billionaires, when they go after those people, I don't think there's going to be any sympathy. I think that the vast majority of the masses are going to back that. And I think that's why you're seeing these leaks right now. They are going to go after those people, and they are going to strip their wealth. Of course, the trillionaires and the real powerful families, of course, no, their wealth is going to be safe. Their wealth has been hidden away many decades ago into foundations and all sorts of things that you'll never find, including wealth in the Vatican and other things like that. So, but yes, I think they are going to target the middle, very wealthy, and strip their wealth, and they will be supported by the masses when they do that. And this one is from Schmod, Perth Mint Premiums. Hey, Brother John, greetings from down under. With the price of silver so low, I just clicked over to Perth Mint website to check on their prices for a purchase. I have purchased most of my silver directly from the Perth Mint, as they have always been very competitive compared to other options available in Australia. However, the premium for 1 ounce coins is currently Australian dollar $10. Spot 2606 with coins at 3606. That's a 38.5% premium. I've never seen anything like this before. I do prefer to stack in coins for liquidity purposes. However, bars are selling much closer to spot 10 ounce. So 2 questions. 1, should I just grab as many bars as I can and not worry about the ease of liquidity? And 2, is there a disconnect between bars and coins? Is the NUMI value of the coins too high? Do you think it will hold up at the end of the day? Thanks for great work. Adam, Sydney, Australia. Well, I've wondered for a long time about the Perth Mint. Now, my basic assumption is that the Perth Mint really wants to part with as little silver as they can, but then again, they have to sell some. Now, I've been told, and this is just anecdotal information, that they do not actually export to foreign sellers, that you actually, if you need to source the Perth Mint coins, such as APMEX or something like that, you actually have to have a buyer there in Australia, an Australian citizen who buys them and then sends them to you. I don't know if that's the case. If any of you do know, go ahead and confirm that. But I do know there is a lot of Perth that's very cheap on APMEX. I've been buying up a lot of it over the last year. I know, I checked today, there's still those half-ounce dragons all the way down at $17. There's a lot of kooks and a lot of koalas still available. So honestly, if you're seeing premiums like that and you want coins, you probably are going to want to buy from APMEX and have them ship them to you there. And next question, why are precious metals so cheap? This is from IOUHC19. Rigging the market seems to me to be a blessing for stackers. Are the powers that be planning to make it illegal for individuals to own silver and gold? If so, we are SOL. If not, stack up now and keep buying on the dips. Well, that gets to the key question, and we'll end with this one. The bottom line is going to be, do you or do you not believe the fundamental story? If you do not believe the fundamental story, there's probably not anything I can tell you at this point that's going to convince you of that story. Now, you have people like Don Harold, who recently debated Bix Weir on unconventional finance, and Don's point is, his big point he always makes is that JP Morgan would have to be the worst trader in the world to take these losses and still be short, etc., etc., etc. Of course, I believe that JP Morgan has no interest whatsoever in making a profit, because they have infinite profits, because the Federal Reserve can print up as much money and hand it to them as they need. They cut a deal with the Fed by taking over Bear's position. So I don't believe that they're going to make it illegal to own silver and gold. I may be wrong on that, but I don't believe that that's the case. One of the reasons why is because silver and gold is their money. If you've listened to Pastor Lindsey Williams and his discussions with his Illuminati insiders, they've said very clearly that that's their money. Why would they make it illegal for their money? But then again, you have to combine that with the question about bankrupting and seizing the assets of the billionaires. Are we going to have a war between these factions? I just don't know. But I can say, as I said before, that when we look at the price of silver, where it's at, down around $27, and when we think about what happened in Cyprus and what potentially could happen in the rest of Europe and even eventually in the United States and Canada, if you're trying to think about an asset that is outside of their paper money system, a real good that you can pay your paper dollars and take delivery of that real asset, hopefully ride out the storm, whatever is coming, whether that's hyperinflation or whether that's the seizure of people's bank, stock, bond, retirement accounts. I honestly cannot think of a better asset at this time than physical silver. But then again, that's just my opinion, and time will tell if I'm right. And we'll talk to you next time.